Miles east of Washington, D.C., and that's where you find this place, FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. Today we've got a Week 8 matchup on tap here, as it'll be the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Washington Commanders. Lurching closer toward the midway point of this NFL season, and we're underway on EA Sports.
Ready.
Now a man picked up on draft night this year, DeAndre Swift. He'll be dropped after a gain of about 6 across the 30 to the 31. This running game's so important for them, and they know that. It helped lead them to a victory last week when he was over 100 yards.
Let's face it, it's their identity, and that's what they want to play to. They want to be that team that runs the ball really well each and every week, and right now we're seeing a pretty good pattern of that happening.
They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31. They'll stay on the ground with Swift. And tackled down after a gain of 3. Leaves him with 1 yard to go on 3rd down. So they just need 1 yard here to pick up the first down. And he's going to have the first down, yardage to the 35. Now a give right side Swift.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Taken down at the 41. It's a gain of 5. Brings up 2nd and 5.
Second and 5.
Ready?
They run out of the gun with Swift. And he'll be taken down at the 46-yard line. But now he appears to be in some pain. While they come out and take a look at him, we will step aside for just a moment. All runs on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10.
Ready?
Mariota. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete. Albert Okwuegbunam on the intended target, and that'll bring up 2nd down. You talk about this Washington defense. This unit against the pass, hoping to get better for sure. Number 25 in the NFL right now.
And even though that's not the greatest ranking in the world, one thing you can say, they get after the quarterback. They're in the top 10 in the league in sacks.
Now this one complete downfield on the left side. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. Now we'll get a stoppage here as it appears we've got an Eagle slow to get up. So the big play means just like that, they'll operate from the red zone now on 1st down. Working out of the gun, Mariota under pressure, and he'll go down. Sacked back at the 31. That huge loss on the sack makes this job much more difficult. It's now 2nd down and 22 yards to go. Throwing is Mariota. He'll take a shot for the end zone. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be 3rd down.
I know conventional wisdom says, hey, don't get it all back in one play. But sometimes you go ahead and try to. They tried to get it all back on that one. Weren't able to do so.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And it's going to be knocked away and incomplete.
Back-to-back incompletions of what was once a nice drive. Stalled out here. I'm going to give credit to the secondary partner. Never gave up as they gave up a few yards, and they came through on that play to deny that pass and force the 4th down.
The kick by Elliott is good. And the Eagles, they take a 3-0 lead. And all in all, a pretty decent opening drive, Charles. Pretty balanced. They had the passing game going and the rushing attack, too.
I would think they have to be happy with that start because you get your ground game going, which means your offensive line and your runners are pretty happy, and then you get your aerial attack going as well, so your quarterback and receivers have smiles on their faces. Now both up to speed, awaiting their next possessions for this game. They can't wait to get started again.
First and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
First and 10 here for Hal and the Commanders at the 20. Here's Gibson to start the drive. It's a room to maneuver. And he's taken down but able to slip across the 35. Well, they accept the penalty, of course, and push the offense backwards a bit. Throwing here, Howell. And it's incomplete. Boy, he doesn't drop many like that one. Second down. These two teams met up earlier in the year, back in Week 4. And it was Washington winning on the road, so they're looking to finish off the sweep here at FedEx Field. So they'll come up after the incompletion for second down. A handoff running left is Gibson. He finds some open field here. And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. 17 yards that time and a Washington first.
Gibson with the solid pickup there, and the Commanders love using his ability in a variety of roles. Led the team with almost 1,400 all-purpose yards in 2022. He can run it and catch it out of the backfield.
Howell changing the play here. On first down, right back to Gibson. Gets through, and now an opening. And he'll have it past midfield almost to the 40 before being taken down. 43 yards rushing for him now in his first 2 carries in the ballgame. So back-to-back big runs, picking apart this defense on the opening drive.
I thought this was a passing league. I thought this was the era we were in where the ball was always in the air, right?
They didn't get the memo.
They didn't get the memo, and I know this to be true. Offensive linemen still, to this day, they want to run the football. They want to fire out and hit people across the line of scrimmage, and they're clearing space.
So from Philadelphia territory now, here's a first and 10 at the 42-yard line. Gibson again. And very little there. He might have gotten a yard. Yeah, I think he got a yard to the 41. You look at this Eagle defense. Now they come into this one down at the 27th position in the league, Charles, against the run.
One thing you do know, they'll be fired up because they're facing a top 5 rushing attack. And even if they have early success against them.
They're looking for McLaurin, but this is intercepted. Picked off by Isaiah Rodgers. And the Eagles will take over here just shy of the 30. Well, CD, I know it's just his second year in the league as a quarterback, but that's going to be one when he flips on the tape. He's like, I shouldn't have thrown that ball.
No doubt about it, and his coaching staff will be emphatic about he shouldn't have thrown that ball. But remember, second year, as you noted, on-the-job training. So he's got to take this feedback that he's getting, negative or otherwise, and turn it into positives moving forward.
Second down, Mariota. Going across the middle, and Goddard's got it. A good pickup there, 13 yards as they get closer for third down.
A lot of tight ends just use their size and their strength, try to occupy some space and kind of body people away and catch the football. But not this guy. He's a refined route runner. Makes me wonder if he took some dance classes in his background with his footwork.
And he's got the first down as he's up to the 45-yard line. So not a lineman, but the tight end instead this time, drawing the holding call.
And more what you're getting with tight ends are guys who are much more receiver than blocker. They may be willing, but that might not be their thing. Oftentimes, they'll be the ones getting the penalties.
On third down, Mariota. He had a man open, but he missed him, and it's incomplete. turnover.
Well, the defense certainly did its part to get them the football. But you're exactly right. It looks like they got to punt this one away. And it's not a turnover, but doesn't it feel like one after grabbing the momentum with the defensive play?
Yeah, and they had all that momentum after getting the football, and now zapped right back in the other direction. Fourth down, Mariota. And it's going to be batted down. It will go the other way with the football. A surprising move to go for it. Predictably, at least somewhat predictably, it doesn't pay off. And that will force a turnover on downs. On 1st and 10, it's Gibson. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up. And now time will be called here as Washington has an injured player down on the field. So as the medical staff takes a look, we'll step aside. Ball on the 27. Here's a 2nd and 8. Now the second-year man from Alabama, it's Brian Robinson. And he is going to lose yardage here. A yard in the wrong direction makes 3rd down tougher. 3rd down and 9.
Part of the thinking when you bring in extra tight ends, you're hoping that each of your guys gets those one-on-one blocks and creates a crease for your runner. You know what the converse is, though? You've got to win those one-on-one blocks. And when you don't, that's the result you end up with.
So they've been unable to capitalize on a great field position as of yet. Here's 3rd and 9. Now they'll change things around before the snap. And now with the time of the play clock almost up, Ron Rivera is going to call a timeout. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. They'll come up now 3rd and 9. Powell throwing on 3rd down here. That's complete. Terry McLaurin with it. Well, this is going to depend on the spot, but it's not a very generous one. He looks to be about a yard or so short.
Well, we hear so often how tackling has become almost a lost art in the NFL game, but it's so important to tackle well on these receivers, especially in a play like this one. 3rd down, they gave him the underneath stuff. You got to go up and make the tackle right away.
3-0 after 1 on EA Sports.
Eagles 3, Commanders 0.
It would be a very makeable field goal try from here, but instead they're going to go for it. Going for it on 4th. Here's Howell. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. Ron Rivera, the gambling type, but he comes up empty here. And the Eagles defense able to hold. On 1st and 10, here's Mariota. Open man is Goddard, the tight end. And he'll get this up to the 34-yard line. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. And they get to Mariota here as he's dropped on the sack. That huge loss on the sack makes this job much more difficult. It's now 2nd down and 22 yards to go. A throw there, but that's going to wind up incomplete. Pressure really ratcheting up. They get the sack on 1st down, and a near sack. They got to him there just as it was leaving his hand.
Yeah, they might need to change their pass protection scheme a little bit. Maybe bring another guy into the backfield to help protect the quarterback, because that was awfully close.
The offense on 3rd down, just 1 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and a mile.
Ultra. Go ultra.
Mariota. incomplete.
One first down here, and that's all, folks. Good work by this defense to hold things in check and force a punting situation.
Here's Aaron Sipos out now to punt on 4th down. Taken at about the 36. They call that a punt of 38 yards officially. And the Commanders will take over with a 1st and 10. The Washington offense at the line and ready to roll. And on the last drive, they were in field goal range. They just opted not to kick it, didn't get it. How does that change the mentality this go around?
I don't think it changes much for the head coach because this is what he preaches all the time. Attack at all times in any spot on the field. And he likes touchdowns, not field goals. Now, your field goal kicker, you've got to make sure you nurse him through and say, okay, don't worry about it. When we need you, you've got to be ready to go. And the team, of course, loves to see points on the board. So let's see if it changes a little bit if they're in the same spot again.
Yeah, we'll see what the decision is here if they get to that spot. Running the sweep with McLaurin. Oh, and this one may need to go back to the drawing board. He's going to be swallowed up right away. Hassan Reddick coming through with a stop there and a tackle for loss to boot. So their task a little bit more difficult now. 2nd and 13 that they're walking up on. They'll try the left side with Gibson. And that'll hurt the average a bit as this time they're able to get him behind the line. That's a big loss of 3, and it brings up 3rd down.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage. 3rd and long, here's Howell. Eagle pressure, too much this time. Down he goes. Well, Fletcher Cox, he's been doing this for a lot of years, and another sack to his ledger there. Tressway on 4th down is sent out to punt. And he didn't quite have the backspin on that one. It hits at the 4 and continues into the end zone. It's a touchback.
Ready up.
The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. The crowd may be losing just a little bit of the edge after back-to-back punts.
They want some big plays. They want to see some offense. They want to see somebody break away, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Now it'll be interesting to see where the patience is on both sides. Each head coach, can you hang in there and not try and force something that could put your team in some jeopardy?
No gain that time, and it leaves them with 3rd and 11 coming up. What do they have for this? 3rd and 11. Here's Mariota. Going deep here for Watkins. And this will be caught at the 30. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Quez Watkins with touchdown number 8 on the year. And the Eagles are able to widen their advantage. On for the extra point, Jake Elliott. It's up and good, and that'll increase their lead to 10-zip. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. Well, from deep in the end zone, he's going to bring this out. And they'll get him down right around the 25, actually the 26 officially, so a net gain of 1 there. Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. Nothing for him yet from an offensive standpoint, down 10-zip as they come up 1st and 10. Oh, he was hit as he threw it there, and that one winds up incomplete.
Well, this is a half where not just the coverage, but the entire defense is setting the tone in this game.
On second down, a run with Gibson. Pushing his way through. And they work this well upfield across the 45. 86 yards rushing for him here as he starts to draw closer to a 1,000-yard campaign. They had a chance to limit his yardage, but he was able to fight off that tackle.
So it's not just the responsibility of the guys who missed the tackles along the way. It's all 11 on defense, able to stop this guy, unable to do it on that play. They've got to find a way. How about his ability to break through and gain that yardage?
And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. 2 jump plays in a row. The last one was over 20 yards, and so is this one. Those are the kinds of plays right there that show you why he's the number 3 man in the NFL in terms of receiving yards.
Also tells you there's a full combination of what he's got going in his game. You name it, from route running to catching the football. That's why he's able to produce those types of numbers.
Let's go now.
Here's a give to Gibson. And room there to work it inside the 25. Powell trying to get his offense to hurry up and get set. On second down, here's Gibson again. Just a gain of a yard there, and now it'll be third down. Now you've got to hustle your guys to the line and get them set.
Brought down at the 23-yard line. It's a gain of a yard. Brings up third down and 2.
They'll run with Gibson. And Gibson looking for some kind of opening, but he has none. They rally up to stop him short of the marker.
No gain on the play. It's 4th down.
An audible here to get a new look. On 4th down, they're going to try the jet sweep. And this doesn't end well at all as they stop him far behind the line to gain. Now the gadget play here on 4th down winds up backfiring. And the Eagles defense able to hold.
Ready.
Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go. Already enjoying a 2-score lead here late in the second quarter. Not a ton of time left. We'll see if they can work this at least into field goal range and try to get 3 to add on even more to their lead. Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete.
And with apologies to Dylan Thomas, apparently they're not going to go gently into the half. They're still out there firing haymakers. They took a chance on a deep ball there, but it winds up incomplete.
Got it.
Here's 2nd and 10.
Cycle.
From the shotgun, it's Mariota. A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
And the folks just dropped a lot of confidence after the last one ended up as a touchdown. Incompletions on their first 2 throws has them huddling up and trying to figure out a big play here on 3rd down to get their momentum going again.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has them staring at a 3rd and 10. Mariota now. That is caught. And he is going to have an Eagles first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. Now a timeout called for by the offense as they get it right at the 32nd mark of this first half.
Ready, ready. Yellow. Check 2. Check up.
Again, it's Mariota. And the Washington pressure gets to him. He will go down. Now the Eagles will use the 2nd of their timeouts. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. Sacks, a growing theme in this first half. This is 2nd and long. Throwing, Mariota. Under pressure, they got him again. Now Washington going to use the second of their 3 timeouts as it comes with 22 seconds to go here in half number 1. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after first and second down went backwards. It's third and very long. Mariota the thrower. And the throw there going to be incomplete.
That could be the stop this defense needed to get them back on track. They've been pretty well dissected by the offense here in the first half. After that possession, now they know that they can compete with this offense.
Here's Aaron Sipas now. This will be a 41-yard punt, 3 on the return. And control of the football switching hands with very little time remaining until the half. The Washington offense at the line and ready to roll. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
So following the hold, they're in a bit of a hole here with a 1st and 20. Back to throw, Howell. That is incomplete.
Well, this defense is going to have to finish the job. There's still a second half that they have to play. But so far, an absolute total effort. They've disrupted the passing game, stressed the pocket for the quarterback. They forced him into errant throws. Everything they're doing has been executed well.
And now a timeout defensively after that first down play. So they're going to make this offense sweat out half number 1. One last shot before the break. Howell slings this deep from McLaurin. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete. First half in the books. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Welcome back. Charles and I settled into the booth, ready for quarter number 3. 10-0 is our score as we get started again on EA Sports. And here comes a return from the middle of the end zone. A solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32.
At their own 32-yard line.
Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. And right out of the gate, they face what you think could be a pretty important drive.
I would say so. You know, they're down 2 scores. That's not the end of the world. It wasn't the strongest of first halves, but for them to start clawing back, they've got to start putting a little pressure on that defense, start cutting into this deficit. You can't have 3 and outs. And
looking for McLaurin, but this is intercepted. Picked off by Isaiah Rodgers. And he'll bring this one back to the 29.
And that has to be a little bit discouraging because after all their halftime talk, adjustments, and points of emphasis, their first drive ends with an interception. Absolutely aggravating if you're a head coach because you spent all that time, gone through every situation possible, and it still ends in a turnover.
Under pressure, and he will go down. Sacked back at the 38. So second and long, and got to be careful not to fall out of field goal range. To throw Mariota. He's going to loft one deep over the middle. And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there, trying to take a shot, but it's third down.
that's some good closing speed there defensively because that looked open for a minute. That's great work with the ball in the air. Never gave up, converged on his man, and broke the play up.
Let's go.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on third down. From the gun, Mariota. Pass taken in by his big tight end. And finally down he goes as they work it inside the 10 to the 7. And now we won't see a play on first down. We're going to get a timeout instead. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this third quarter. They'll run here with Gainwell. And he's able to get it down to the 2-yard line. So they've been in the red zone 3 times, and it's yielded just 3 points. Can they find the end zone here on 2nd and goal? Touchdown! Kenneth Gainwell, his first touchdown on the year. And the Eagles add 6 to their lead. Always important to get the first score of the second half. Now you start to pull away a little bit and get some breathing room going.
And now we find out about the fortitude of the group that's behind, because they were counting on getting into the game a little bit more, right? Maybe they get the first score. That doesn't happen. It looks almost insurmountable, but it's not. Let's see how hard they play the rest of the game.
Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. He will return this from deep in the end zone. And they'll get him down right around the 25, actually the 26 officially, so a net gain of 1 there.
At their own 26-yard line.
The Washington offense at the line and ready to roll. I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to pull off an impressive comeback, it has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand they've got to move the ball and move it fast. In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get 2 more possessions.
Now Howell. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. And they take possession 2 yards away from midfield at the 48-yard line.
At the 48-yard line.
Ready. Blue, go. Trail green. Let's go. Go set.
Following the interception here, Mariota. He's got it at the 15. And they move this all the way down to the 9. 39 yards there, a big one. The chain gang hustling to catch up. Here's 1st and goal from just inside the 10. They run behind center with Gainwell. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. So they get pushed back to the 11, and here's 2nd and goal. Now Mariota. Blitz coming, and down he goes. A chance to really put this game out of reach. Here's 3rd and goal.
A loss of 7 yards. It's 3rd down and goal.
Yellow, go. Black shot. Red, yellow. Set.
Throwing is Mariota. And that will be incomplete.
Let's give this defense some credit now. They let the guys get downfield, but when push came to shove, they stood their ground, and now they'll likely force a field goal attempt.
The kick by Elliott is good, and that will extend their lead even further. So the turnover leads to points as they add 3 there.
Yeah, what a sequence there, and a nice one for them. They forced the interception, put together a little drive, and then come away with 3 points. Nothing to it, partner. Just do it.
And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23.
At their own 23-yard line.
Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. It's a game that they would rather probably forget about, at least to this point, Charles. And one reason is turnovers. The turnover on the last drive, they had the issue in the first half as well, and that's really, unfortunately for them, helped to put this game out of reach.
And you know they won't want to admit it to themselves, but we know that winning the game is pretty much out of the picture now. So their bottom line is, how do they play a clean game the rest of this one, right? Take care of the football, no more turnovers, and see how that works.
And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete.
You get the sense that they're saying we're not playing up to what we're capable of, and we're deep enough into the game that the early jitters are long gone, that they should now have some sense of continuity and be able to make some of these plays that they have not been doing so far.
And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down. He can't get him down. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. Looking to speed things up here, going with some tempo. Once more, Gibson. And this one not going anywhere. They get him at the 44 for a gain of just a yard. 2nd and 9 from the 44. Throwing there, but this pass is going to wind up incomplete.
I'm getting the sense that this offense is getting frustrated. Here we are into the third quarter, and they've had plenty of opportunities to get in sync. Thus far, that hasn't happened. They're looking for answers both on the sidelines and in the huddle, looking at each other.
And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. It's Sidney Brown with it. And the Eagles are going to take possession as they've got it at the 42-yard line.
They'll take over 1st and 10 at their own 42-yard line.
Here we go.
The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. They'll start in excellent field position following the INT. They start the drive here with Gainwell. He'll get this up to about the 44.
Oh, that's a real nice job there by the defensive front. They just engaged and held their ground. But how about the guy who made the play? We often talk about whether they take a good first step or not. Many times you just don't take any step.
Rush coming, and he's taken down. And they're going to speed things up here. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And pressure coming, and they got him once again. Montez Sweat in there to drop him for his 11th sack of the year.
Well, this has to count as a great team effort today, but this man, he's been at the center of all of it. Really special day for any defense to have this many sacks in a game, even more so for this player. One of the best individual efforts of the season.
That'll go as a punt of 42, 7 on the return. And it will be Washington football now with a 1st and 10. The Washington offense at the line and ready to roll. And here we are almost through 3 quarters of play, and this passing game still has not really found any kind of rhythm.
Put it mildly, because they're not even over 100 yards yet. And in today's NFL, where it's a pass-first league, that is quite surprising. Not many teams patient enough to stick with the run. Everybody wants to advance the ball through the air. They've got to get their timing back.
And they're not going to get to the line to run another play. So we will switch ends as the third quarter has come to a close. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Now that after the sack, it'll be interesting to see what they have planned for 2nd and 23. Dotson in motion right. He'll get an opportunity with it on the touch pass. Oh, and this one may need to go back to the drawing board. He's going to be swallowed up right away. Well, I think the hope is, with a touch pass like that, maybe you catch the defense off guard, but they were all over that one.
And it is the kind of play that works better against certain defenses, and this clearly was the wrong one to run into. Really nice job getting him down behind the line of scrimmage.
And he'll be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line. All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on 4th down. They're going for it. Now they go for it on 4th, but this one is going to wind up incomplete. Washington goes for it, but it does not pan out. And the Eagles are going to take over in great field position. Mariota now to throw on 1st down. And he cannot avoid the pressure as the Washington pass rush gets home. So they will take the sack instead of the penalty.
And it takes another down off the series. But the biggest one of all, do you want to tell the guy who just got the sack that it no longer counts?
No.
No, not at all.
Cycle. Ready?
Second down, Mariota. Over the middle, complete. That's Watkins.
On the ball.
And quickly, they get to the line. On third down, Mariota. And that is incomplete.
Coverage was awfully tight there on third down. They actually closed off all the passing lanes, forcing the incompletion and bringing up fourth down.
Here's Jake Elliott. Career long, by the way, for him, 61 yards. They'll spot it at the 47, so call it a 57-yard attempt. And this is good from 57 yards out. That was bombs away right there. And that will extend their lead even further. Well, ultimately not really sure that they're going to need those 3 points, but they'll take the 3 and they pad that lead.
Yeah, this one's already wrapped up, but you and I both know if you're an offensive coordinator, you never let up on the gas unless the head coach tells you to do so. And maybe you've actually clicked him off in your headset so you can keep calling plays and trying to add to this lead.
Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. It's been a tough go for them. It's still without any points here in the fourth quarter. And a big deficit, Charles, but they moved the football on some drives. They just haven't had any points.
Yeah, and I know in their minds they're thinking the game plan has actually been working. We just haven't scored points. Well, isn't that the bottom line, partner? To put points on the board. So if you're moving it and you're not scoring, is it really working? Right now, they've got nothing left to lose. They might as well go for broke. And that's another play that's painted the picture of this game overall. It's been a blowout. It's been continually fueled by big turnovers and stops for one side, and an inability to advance the ball from the other.
Let's go now. And this offense on third down today, they've had their troubles. Just 1 for 6. This is 3rd and 10. A give up the middle to Gibson. And he'll be stopped here well short of the first down at the 24-yard line. And they're indeed going to go for it here on 4th down. So trailing here in the last quarter. Let's see how this plays. And my goodness, another interception. Darius Slay with a pick. And his guys are going to take over at the 39-yard line.
First down 10 at the 39-yard line.
Ready.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. To throw is Mariota. Oh, this one incomplete. The pressure got to him as he released it. And it's 2nd down. Well, 4th quarter with a 3-score lead here, Charles, but they're still going back to the air and looking for more points.
Well, with this game well in hand, it's an opportunity for the guys to come off the bench and get a chance to play. And a lot of coaches, they want to run their full playbook no matter who's on the field.
Slide through. Drill 3. Hut.
Throwing again. Mariota on 2nd and 10. And that'll fall incomplete. He was hit just as he let that go. And now it's 3rd down.
This defense has passed its first 2 tests by forcing back-to-back incompletions. They know there's probably another throw coming on 3rd down. Let's see if they decide to force the issue by sending people on a blitz.
Now yet another incompletion here as they fail to connect on 3rd. Well, they're up comfortably here, Charles, but that lead certainly not dissuading them from pressing the envelope late. I mean, if anything, with these passes, it's like they're getting more aggressive to try to drive the ball downfield.
And that will certainly lend itself to some post-game questions for that coach, and maybe you and I should attend that press conference and see what he has to say, because someone's going to ask him why he continued to push it. My guess, he didn't like how some of the snaps were run earlier, and he wanted to use that as a chance to clean things up, but he certainly will have some explaining to do.
And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. The Eagles unable to convert there on 4th. And the Commanders come through with a 4th down stand. The Washington offense at the line and ready to roll. Well, I hate to say it, but at this point, I don't really know that they're playing to win with this deficit in the fourth quarter. They're just trying to erase that 0 on the scoreboard, Charles, and get some type of momentum to carry into the film section tomorrow.
If you get any type of points on the board, it'll count as a moral victory, although no one will talk about that in the post-game press conference. That's not something you mentioned in the NFL. And this loss, it already stings and will for a while. But everyone on that offense knows it'll sting a lot worse if they don't put some points up on the board.
On second down, here's Gibson again. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. Now, they had stopped him for a loss on the run anyway, so they'll decline that.
It's almost a good psychological advantage, isn't it? You created a penalty, and you still couldn't gain yards against us. No way we need to take that one.
Howell throwing on third down here. Oh, had his hands on it, couldn't bring it in. Pretty symptomatic of how this game's been going. Well, we've talked about it, CD, but it bears repeating. They are struggling to throw the football. All the interceptions and more incompletions. It just doesn't look like things are in sync out there.
I would agree with that, and it's not a good day when you feel like an incomplete pass is almost a win for you because it wasn't intercepted. And I think the receivers now, when they're running their routes, they want to catch the ball, but they also want to make sure that the defenders don't take it away. Well, give them credit. They're going to stay and fight this out to the end. Fourth down, you've got to go for it. And they not only convert, but pick up some good yardage as well.
So the big play gets them all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. On 1st and 10, it's Robinson. 5 yards is the tally on 1st down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
Brandon, all things considered, they have to feel pretty good about getting that type of a gain, considering the blitz that they just had against them.
Now 2nd and 5. 2nd down, Howell back to pass. And he drops it incomplete. And their struggles continue here.
That incompletion is not a surprise with the way that this one has gone, and the frustration, the body language is evident everywhere. This team, they've really been put through the ringer in this one.
Throwing here, Howell. And the throw there going to be incomplete.
At this point in the game, they've got to continue to try anything they can. They're still working at it, even though this one feels like a lost cause.
And no move to get the offense off the field. They're going on 4th and 5. 4th down, Howell, desperation time. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. Ron Rivera, the gambling type, but he comes up empty here. And the Eagles defense able to hold.
Down.
Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go. Been a very strong performance for them, really, on both sides of the football. The turnover on downs the most recent example, and now, obviously, they're in a great spot here.
Yeah, if you're over...
And that's caught at the 25. So it's Eagle football here as we get you reset. And you'd have to figure they're just looking to burn these final 2 minutes away and get out of here with a victory.
Ultra.
Mariota on 1st down. That's caught. It's Kenneth Gainwell. Touchdown, Eagles. Kenneth Gainwell. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns here so far. And the Eagles up the lead to 4 scores now here in this 4th quarter. Elliott good on the extra point. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to that big lead. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. From a yard or 2 deep, here comes a return. And he'll get it up past the 20 to about the 22.
At their own 22-yard line.
Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. At this point, partner, things looking pretty bleak. They still haven't scored here in the fourth quarter, facing the big deficit. What silver linings, what can they look to do here offensively?
You know, it's funny, I talked about this with a coach in the offseason and kind of had this scenario, like what feels good to you and what feels good to your team. You're down big. You really have like one possession left, and you're trying to put points on the board that don't matter. But do they? And he told me they actually do matter. And in this situation, he's going to try and run the best offense he can run, have at least a little bit of confidence to take away from that game. So right now, they're going to try their best to get something up on the board and not get shut out.
On third down, here's Gibson. And he's going to be stopped up right at the line of scrimmage. This offense has gone for it 5 times already. They're now going to go for a 6th fourth down try. He's going to get that to his running back out of the backfield. And Washington now going to use the first of their 3 timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. 4th down, trailing in the 4th quarter. They felt compelled to go for it, and they got it.
Well, I'd look down at my play sheet, and what I would find, plays that have been successful throughout the game that have worked at the distance you need, and that's exactly what they got done.
And now here is another interception. Flexing his muscle at the 30. And he's able to get it back to right around the 27.
They'll take over 1st and 10 at the 27-yard line.
Come on, set. Black Ultra. Mega. Ready.
Mariota here to throw. And incomplete on the deep ball.
I think it's fairly safe to call this game over, but they're still trying to bomb it downfield and add to their lead. Almost makes you start to feel for the defense and root for them a little bit, too.
Smash, red. Check, smash.
A 2nd down throw here for Mariota. That's going to be caught. And he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly. Well, partner, he has carried them in this ball game throwing the football. All 4 touchdowns through the air. And that's really helped them get this nice lead.
And I know it's a team game, but right now, he is truly the focal point. Every touchdown his team has so far has been the result of his arm. How about him throwing it downfield, creating big plays? I don't know how you slow him down unless you can make him uncomfortable in the pocket.
Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. And this will be brought out from the middle of the end zone. And he'll be brought down at the 28-yard line, so the decision to bring it out of the end zone gets him 3 more.
Their own 28-yard line.
Okay, ready.
The Washington offense at the line and ready to roll. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And, okay, all right, I'm being facetious here. But you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
2nd and 10. Little bootleg here. Howell. And my goodness, another interception. Picked off by Isaiah Rodgers. And the Eagles will take over possession here up at the 44.
At their own 44-yard line.
Let's go.
So good starting field position for them here as they come up 1st and 10 at their own 44.
Smash. Hut.
Throwing here, Mariota. This is Smith with a grab. Now the Eagles will use the 2nd of their timeouts. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play.
Here we go.
So the big play gets them all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10.
Edo blue. Ultra. Go ultra. Ready.
Mariota now. And that's going to be incomplete.
Partner, in the sportsmanship handbook, there's something to be said for calling the dogs off in a blowout. But these defenders, they also know this is the NFL, and it's their job to stop them, whether they're in the game or they're down by a handful of touchdowns.
Steal. Check steal. Steal. Black. Ready? Go.
On second down, Mariota again. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
Nice back-to-back plays defensively. They're stacking momentum now. One incompletion, two incompletion. They're going for more.
Here we go.
So now 3rd and 10. A big play to start the drive, but nothing since.
Slide blue. Hey, go Furious. Hey, green. Trail green. Ready?
Again, it's Mariota. Oh, he had him. He was open, but he couldn't get it to him. It's incomplete.
Give them credit for excellent coverage, tight coverage. They're doing a lot of things that we talk about in basketball. They're causing disruptions in the passing game. And as long as that continues, it'll be tough for them to gain any momentum throwing the ball downfield.
The kick by Elliott is good, and that will extend their lead even further. Well, the only silver lining on the other sideline, CD, is that they kept him out of the end zone, but still, that's another 3 points added on to this large lead.
Yeah, no shortage of scoring or big plays on defense in this one. And even up by 4 possessions, still finding ways to create opportunities and capitalize with points.
And they'll get him down right around the 25, actually the 26 officially, so a net gain of 1 there. Out there set and ready for this next drive, the Washington offense. Where we stand right now in the 4th quarter, this one pretty much out of reach. And, Charles, I know they're going to be disappointed about several things with this ball game, but the self-inflicted wounds, they've had several turnovers. You would have to think that's going to be something they're going to discuss heavily in the film session in the coming days.
You're absolutely right about that, partner, because they're going to have to sit in that film room and watch every error that they made and figure out how to not do it in the future. And mentally, I think a lot of the guys are already starting to think about, okay, how do we put this behind us and get better for the next time out? This, they'll use as motivation for the rest of the time that they play to hopefully never be in this type of situation again.
A gain there of 21 yards.
First down. 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line.
First down, Hal to throw. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
We've seen this quite a few times in this game. Offensive line unable to keep leverage, unable to keep people away, facing a lot of pressure. Fortunate just to get rid of it.
One of the reasons they're down is that inability, though, to stop the pressure. We saw another example of it there. Here's Hal to throw on 2nd down. And that is going to officially draw the curtain on this one as the last throw intercepted. And he takes this one back into the end zone. And the Eagles defense gets a pick-6 TD. For the winning team here, Charles, that's about as big and clean of a win as you could hope for in the National Football League. No turnovers. Meanwhile, you forced turnovers. You didn't allow any points, and you put up a bunch of points. What an effort.
And, Brandon, I just have to ask you, that's all the stuff that we saw happen today. Those are statistics, numbers, the whole deal. But my question is, how does one team come ready to play and the other one, obviously, not ready at all?
Well, I mean, I obviously don't have an answer to that, but that was the story from the get-go. One side was awake and ready, and the other just seemed to sleep. So for Philadelphia, the victory means they'll up their mark to 5-3 on the year. And they will head back home next week. Meanwhile, for Washington, they'll fall to 5-3 with a loss. And they'll look